Guys, it's Copper Cutlass. Happy Sunday Fun Day. And today I brought home my diff. I don't think I really made much videos on it. I talked about it. Work had been kind of slow, so I took it by the shop in pieces because I'd already kind of taken it apart in here. And I had all the parts delivered to the shop because we always get them like within 2 days from where we're at, from wherever usually I order in the Midwest or whatever. You know, Summit, Jags, Inline Tube. And the spool came directly from Mosier Engineering. I do have the cover on there just to keep dust out. And we got new backing plates. And I don't know if you guys remember in the past, we had that issue where the drums were rubbing the backing plate. Well, I found out a couple of things. And we rectified them. And I got new backing plates. And now everything is good. I don't have to run a spacer with the drum anymore to keep it away from the backing plate. That was very annoying to hear that rubbing noise constantly. Now, a couple of things. The spool was a little wobbly and worn out. It took me a little bit to get a good pattern out of this gear, but I got it. I did have some advice and help from Brian Trick. If you guys are in the Oldsmobile and Buick game, you guys know Brian Trick as the diff guy. He's very nice, and he helped me out just, you know, to get a better pattern than what I had. What I had, I think, at first was acceptable, but for longevity, you almost want it perfect. And for what we're doing, you know, I put the effort in, and the setup took me almost 5 hours. You know, just back and forth, going on back and forth, and taking the spool out and reshimming and doing this, that, and doing the other. If you guys have done it, you know the amount of work that it takes, and it is tiring. I brought my welder home. I'm going to weld the back side of the frame. I'm going to prep that out. I have a busy day today. I might come out here tonight and do some prep work and get some stuff done. But for now, I got to do a little bit of running around. It's about 11 o'clock, and I'm meeting up with my buddy JJ in the evening. I got some stuff I bought from him, and we picked up something for him as well. So the goal is that by the end of the week, the rear end will be back in the car. And we're just going to top off the trans and drive it, make sure everything is good. Maybe our clicking noise was in the rear end. I don't know. It was pretty beat up, I will say that, you know. So with that being said, most of the obstacles are out of the way. My Ford's 351 Windsor is done. His 4R70W is done. It's like the modern AOD Ford transmission, which was a pain in the ass to rebuild. Every single manual that we bought to give us some guidance was absolute garbage for the actual questions we had. So I think the reason why that transmission is hard to rebuild is because the information is so horrible, to be honest with you. We did find some good videos on YouTube, but there were some very specific things that we were trying to find that we really couldn't find. But ultimately, we spent a good 6 or 7 hours easily building that transmission last night. He didn't leave here till about midnight. He got here about noon, but we went out and had lunch and stuff. But his transmission's done, his engine's done. It's time to focus on this, get this back together, and then I'm also picking up a 5,000 stall converter from JJ, which we're going to put behind the Ultra Belt 350. But I got to send it out to a converter shop, have it cut, cleaned, inspected, make sure it's good. It did come out of a good transmission. But if this transmission's still good, I'm going to run it. Now, I did say I saw some shrapnel out of the drain plug where it's magnetic, but it was minimal. So I don't know if I folded the sprag over or not, or it was a little low on fluid, but it's got a deep sump pan. So I think it's going to take a long time before this thing starves out of fluid. So I really don't know. Before I start taking stuff off, one thing at a time, as always, get that rear end in. And also, I found out that my control arms have gotten really, really loose. And if you guys know, I double nut and run everything loose on my car. So I think part of my clunking was the control arms, which have no bushings, no rubber. They're just solid. They're clunking around, and I'm not used to it because they've loosened up over time and progressively gotten worse. But the spool was very clunky, and we got a new spool. We got a new 456 gear. And hopefully we can get this thing to 60 foot better, and it should be good. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to fix the frame even better because we're going to reinforce the backside. So stay tuned for that. I'll make videos about that as I go. Now that I'm kind of getting back on my stuff, you know, I'm going to need a weekend to help, have some help get the engine out of my basement and out here. We're going to get that fired up. We'll make a video on that. And it's ramping up. The last 4 weeks since, and it always begins that weekend. You know, we went to the swap meet. As soon as that weekend, the end of February hits, you got to hit the ground running to get your car ready for the track, because you don't know if we're going to get good weather to test in April or we're not going to be testing till May, and it's happened. But the weather's been really, really nice, and I'm taking advantage of it, and I'm coming out here and I'm working. So stay tuned, guys. Share, like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram as Copper Cutlass, and I hope you guys have enjoyed everything we've been doing this winter. It's been really busy, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. We got a lot of things to do, and we got to get ready for racing. So, and there's a long list of stuff. I'm gonna minor upgrades on the stuff, but I'll talk about that as I go. So I'll talk to you guys later.